Hello students, welcome back to your science class. So students, in the previous class, in this chapter that is combustion and flame, we were talking about combustion. We had completed the topic combustion and in which we have seen all the different types of a combustion. So in the last class student, we have seen that what do we understand by spontaneous combustion. So in case of a spontaneous combustion, we have seen that it is a type of a combustion when we provide heat. Even if there is no need of supplying heat to it, it can burn or it can catches fire quickly without providing it even at the room temperature. So we can say here that when we keep that substances including sodium or potassium, if we will keep it outside in a presence of a room temperature, when we keep it outside at room temperature, it will get burn quickly. It catches fire very quickly, and this we called as such kind of a combustion is called as the spontaneous combustion, students. Now here in this one, the thing that we have to understand is the combustion totally depends upon how reactive a material is. If the material is very reactive, it will show rapid combustion or fast combustion. If the material is not very reactive, so it will show the slow combustion. It will take a lot of time. And if it is a lot reactive, very much reactive, at that time it will show the spontaneous combustion. Okay, so there are three types. Now depending upon their ability to burn, it means how much whether they will show the complete combustion or incomplete combustion. So depending upon the depending upon this, that whether it will be completely burned or it will be not completely burned, we had classified them into two types, and that is complete combustion and incomplete combustion. In case of a complete combustion, students, this is a kind of a combustion in which the combustible substance will burn completely. And when it will burn completely, it will produces a gas, and that is called as a carbon dioxide gas. So here, if a carbon dioxide gas is released, we will say that complete combustion has taken place. One more thing is which is really important to understand, and that is presence of oxygen is really necessary. So we will say that if oxygen is present in a good amount, then absolutely we will prefer the complete combustion will take place, because that combustible substance need to be burned, and for that there is a need of supporter, and this supporter will be provided by the combustible substance. This provided by that of the oxygen in order to complete the combustion process. So this is the complete combustion, student, in which release of carbon dioxide gas occur. Second one is incomplete combustion. In case of an incomplete combustion, obviously there is less amount of oxygen is present. Less amount of oxygen, it means complete combustion cannot take place. Some of the residue will be left, and this residue will called as a soot, and when we burn it, if it is showing an incomplete combustion, it will produce as carbon monoxide gas. So here, in place of a carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide gas is released. Then this is all about that of the combustion, students. Okay. Talking about the flame, so we have seen the flame is a reason where after combustion it vaporizes with the heating, and that is called as a flame. It means any of the combustible substance, when it gets vaporizes, whether it is a solid or a liquid, it vaporizes with the flame. Okay, so flame is always along with when we do the process of the combustion. We have seen that flame depends the color of the flame depend upon few things, and that is nature of the burning substance, what kind of a nature is there of burning substance. Then second one is supply, means supporter is there or not, so amount of the air supply and temperature. These are the few things in which the color of the flame totally depends on. Now moving on, and we will see that flame is also are of different types. So types of flame. Types of flame. So depending upon the amount of oxygen available, depending upon the amount of oxygen available for burning flames, flame produce are of two types. These are of two types. So depending upon the amount of oxygen which is present there, which causes the flame, we had classified the flame also into two types. The first is called as the non-luminous flame. Non-luminous flame. And the second one is the luminous flame. Non-luminous flame and luminous flame. Talking about the non-luminous flame, we will start with the first one and then we will see the second one. Remember that, student, we had classified them depend upon the amount of oxygen available for causing the flame here. So the color varies also with that. So let us see here. First is non-luminous flame. Non-luminous flame. So, non-luminous flame, it is produced when there is a supply of oxygen for combustion is sufficient. Remember that. It seems that it is non-luminous, but no, it is blue color in light, and it says that here the supply of oxygen is sufficient. Amount of oxygen is very much to cause this flame blue in color, to give color to it, that is blue color, is called as a non-luminous flame. So whenever you will see the blue flame is coming out, remember that sufficient supply of oxygen has been there, and because of that it is blue in color, and such kind of a flame is called as the non-luminous color. Now remember, student, why it is called as a non-luminous flame? Since it is blue in color, and blue, what it emits very little amount of a light. Okay, and because of that, since luminous means what? That is related to the light, which produces light. That is called as the luminous. So here it is called as a non-luminous flame since it occurs in blue in color, and since it is giving blue color, so it emits very little amount of a light, and because of that we will say that it is a non-luminous flame. Although it is producing little amount of color, but its temperature is high. Obviously it is high, student, because it is producing, oxygen is sufficient. So when the oxygen will be sufficient, so whole combustion process will take place, and when the combustion process will take place, it will release a lot of amount of energy. We know that combustion and flame are very much similar. When we do the process of the combustion, flame produces. So what kind of a flame will help us in telling the amount of oxygen supply there? If the flame is blue in color, which proves that the amount of oxygen is sufficient, and thus it is producing a good amount of a heat energy, so temperature will be high. And since it is blue in color, so it emits very little amount of a light. That's why it is a non-luminous flame, student. You see, students, since amount of oxygen is more, so what happened? complete combustion process will happen. We have seen right now that complete combustion is what? When the sufficient supply of oxygen is there, so that will help in reducing, that will help in reacting with all the combustible substance and converting it into the heat energy, and due to which carbon dioxide gas is released. So when we are saying in case of a non-luminous flame, sufficient supply of oxygen is available there. So obviously there will be no residue will be left, because all the combustible substance will get reacted. Okay. So this is about the non-luminous flame. So let us write the points which is related to non-luminous. First one, a non-luminous flame is produced when the supply of oxygen for combustion is sufficient. When the supply of oxygen for combustion is sufficient. Here this non-luminous flame is blue in color. It is blue in color and emits very little light. And it emits little light. Next, it does not leave any residue. Leave any residue because of complete combustion of fuel. Because of complete combustion of fuel. Does not leave any residue because of complete combustion of fuel, students. Okay, so this is about the non-luminous flame. Moving on, and we will see the next one, and that is luminous flame. Second one, luminous flame. So next is luminous flame. Obviously the luminous flame is that flame in which supply of the oxygen is not sufficient. And when supply of oxygen is not sufficient, then a kind of a flame is produced which is yellow color. Now compare the yellow to that of the blue color. You will find that yellow color produces light as compared to blue. So obviously, if it is producing light, so such kind of a flame is a luminous flame. Okay. So since it produces yellow in color, it emits light. And that is why the name is given, that is called as the luminous flame. Now since amount of oxygen is less, students, so complete combustion cannot take place, and ultimately you know that in case of incomplete combustion, residue is left behind. It means soot. It is left behind. So we will say that residue is left in case of the luminous flame. What about the amount of heat is released? Obviously, if all the combustible substance, if the fuel is not burned properly because of the absence of oxygen, obviously very less amount of heat energy will be released, so the temperature will also be low. So in case of a luminous flame, we can write that a luminous flame is luminous flame is produced when the supply luminous flame is produced when the supply of oxygen for combustion is insufficient. So when the luminous flame produced, its supply for the combustion is insufficient, then that is a luminous flame. And the flame is yellow in color. It is yellow in color, and obviously if it is yellow, then is brighter than the blue flame. It is brighter than the blue flame. Okay, it is yellow in color and it is brighter than the blue flame. What about temperature? So its temperature is comparatively lower than luminous one. So its temperature is comparatively temperature is comparatively lower than the non-luminous flame. So its temperature is comparatively lower than the non-luminous flame. Now here one more thing is there, that it leaves black soot, as we have seen in case of a incomplete combustion also. So we can write here that it leaves black color, black soot and other residue due to incomplete combustion. Of the fuel. Okay, so this is all about that of the non-luminous flame, students. So we have seen that the non-luminous flame produces yellow color, light brighter than that of the blue color. It is comparatively lower. Its temperature is comparatively lower with that of the combustion, with that of the luminous flame, and obviously it will release or it will leave a residue which is black soot, because the reason is less amount of oxygen is there, so complete combustion cannot take place. Okay. Now let us see that how does a candle burn. Basically, we have seen that a candle burn, but it is the wax. What happened to the wax? How the wax reacted with the oxygen and produces the flame in the candle. So Let us see here. That is, how does a candle burn? How does a candle burn? So basically a candle is what? It is a solid block of fuel which is made up of paraffin wax. And paraffin wax is what? It is made up of a heavy hydrocarbon. Okay, hydrocarbon, and this hydrocarbon, it comes from the crude oil. So here the fuel is what? It itself a paraffin wax which we obtain from that of the crude oil. Okay, so at first we will write here that a candle is what? It is, candle is a solid block of fuel. It is a solid block of fuel made from paraffin wax and paraffin wax is heavy. It is heavy hydrocarbon, that come from crude oil, Okay. When you look at the candle, what do you find? You will find that a cotton thread is there in the middle of the paraffin wax. Okay, and that cotton thread is used to burn, and that will continue to burn until and unless whole of the paraffin wax get melted down. So we can say that a cotton wick is there. A cotton wick is fixed in the middle, of column of a wax, which start burning when it reaches to its ignition temperature. Obviously, anything will start burning only when it reaches to its ignition temperature. So, burning when reaches to its ignition temperature. When it reaches to its ignition temperature. Now what happened when we light the matchstick, students? So when we light the matchstick to that of the candle, near the wick of the candle, the wax of the wick, it vaporizes because of heat. Okay, it vaporizes and it starts burning. So when we heat it, the wax vaporizes, make the wick to burn. What happened? The heat produces the melting of the wax at the base of the candle, and here the molten wax, it starts rising up in the form of the vapor. Okay, and as it reaches to the top of the wick, it will produces a luminous flame. So we can say here that the fuel melts itself in order to make the wick to burn as it reaches to its ignition temperature. So next point we can write it here that as a lighted matchstick lighted matchstick is brought near the wick of the candle, is brought near the wick of the candle, wick of the candle, the wax in the wick vaporizes. The wax in the wick vaporizes and begins to burn. And begins to burn. So when we lighted the matchstick, students, what happened? Lighted the matchstick and keep it close to that of the candle. When we take it to that of the wick of the candle, the wick start burning, and here when the wick burn, it produces, it's giving a temperature to the wax which is associated with it. Now the wax, what happened? You have seen the wax start melting, okay, and then it vaporizes. After melting, it vaporizes and make the wick to burn. So basically what happened, the heat produces, when we lit it, the heat produced melt the wax at the base of the wick. At the base of the wick, the molten wax here rises upward. It rises upward in the wick. Try to understand one of them one by one, student. First of all, we are providing a sufficient ignition temperature to the wick of the candle, through which it start burning. When it burns, heat is produced. Now what happened? This heat help in melting of the wax associated with it, and the wax, it molted and vaporizes, and molted wax, it rises up and it vaporizes, helping that of the wick to burn. Now when it vaporizes, it reaches to the top of the wick. Being molten, student, you know that it will be absorbed by the cotton, the wick which is present in it. So through this, it gets vaporized as it reaches top of the wick. As it reaches top of the wick. Here the flame produced is a luminous flame. So the wax burns with a luminous flame, and this process continues till all the wax of the candle is melted. So this process continues till all the wax will be, till all the wax of the candle is consumed. Okay. So this is how the candle burn and show the luminous flame.